Okay then gang, now we've got the starter site up and running and we've also created a new Hygraph project. So now I want to start making content on Hygraph which we can then fetch from the Next.js site and show in the browser. In our case, we want to make some blog post content and also some content for an about page. So how do we do that then? Well, if we click on the content link over here, we're going to see a message telling us we've not created any content models yet. And there's a button here that says go to the schema builder, which is where we can make a new content model from. So before we add any content, like a blog post, for example, we have to make a model for that type of data, a blog model. And that model outlines what fields that content type should have. For example, a title field, a summary field, a thumbnail field, etc. Once we have that content model created, two things are then going to happen. One, we're allowed to add new entries for that content model, and two, Hygraph updates the GraphQL schema so we can query that content from the front end. So that we can click on this button right here, and that just takes us to the schema page, which you can also reach by clicking on the schema link in the sidebar. Then we can click on this button to make a new content model. So let's give this model a display name, which I'm going to call post because it's going to be a blog post model. The next two fields, the ID for the GraphQL API and the plural of that, are automatically generated for us based on the name we give it. And the description field is optional, so I'm just going to skip that for now and hit the add model button. So then once that model is created, we should see over here on the left under models, and now we can start adding new fields to it. Now before we do that, I just want to toggle this switch right here to show the built-in system fields, and these fields are automatically applied to every new model that you create in Hygraph. So they include things like the ID field, the created at field, updated at, and so forth. And these fields are managed by Hygraph, and they get updated for us automatically, but we can still query them from the front end, which is nice. Anyway, let's toggle that back off and we're going to start adding some fields of our own. So then what fields do we need for a new blog post? Well, I'm thinking that we need a title field, a 1 or 2 line summary as well, a content field for the actual post content, and maybe a post thumbnail as well. So let's start by adding the title field. Now, when we're adding new fields to a model, we can choose from the different field types listed on the right-hand side over here. And all of these field types are organized into data types, I guess, like strings, integers, floats, booleans, dates, JSON, etc. So we can just drag and drop one of these fields, like the single line text field, over here to add it to the model. And when we do that, a form is going to slide right out for us to configure that field. So we need a name for the field, which is going to be title. And as we type that, the API ID automatically updates for us as well. We could add a description, but we'll skip that because the title is pretty self-explanatory, right? Now down here, we've got some extra field options, and the first one is auto-checked for us, which is use as title field. And that basically means, look, shall we use this field as the main identifying field of a content entry? Does that make sense? So I'm going to keep this checked. Next, we can make the field localized, which enables different values for different translations. We're going to keep this unchecked because we're not going to be working with translations. But then down here, we've got some validation options. Now we're going to check the first one, which is to make the field required. We'll also check the second one to make the title unique because we don't want multiple blogs with the same title. The third option is to limit the character length, which I'm just going to leave. The fourth one is to make it match a regular expression pattern like an email, which I'm also going to leave unchecked. And the last one is to restrict regex patterns, which again, I'm going to just leave unchecked. We don't want to do that. Then we can skip over these advanced options as well and just click on the add button to add the new text field to the model. Okay, so now we can see that first field in this post model, and if we hover over that field, we should see a little edit button in case we ever want to edit or change anything about that field. So then next, I want to add a slug field, which is a URL-friendly identifier. So let me drag and drop that below the title field. And same again, we're going to see a form slide out so that we can configure this field. So the title of this is going to be slug, and the API ID auto-generates based on that value. And down here, this time, we've got a different option, which is to generate the slug from a template. And that means we can have Hygraph auto-generate a value for this slug field based on the value of another field in this model. And we can reference any other field in curly braces right here. For example, I want the slug to be generated based on the title value, right? The title of the blog post. So I can use curly braces and then the name of that title field, which is just title. And now Hygraph should auto-populate the slug field for any new posts based on whatever title we give to the post, replacing spaces with hyphens. I also want to keep this next option checked, which is to make the slug field all lowercase. Then I'm going to scroll all the way down to the validations and make sure that the field is required. Make sure it's unique because we don't want two slugs the same, and also keep this pattern match checked as well, which means only these characters can be used to start the slug, followed by this repeating pattern of either dashes, slashes, or the same subset of characters. Basically, this limits the field to being a URL-friendly slug-like string. All right, so then I'm going to come right down here and click on Add to add this second field to the model. All right, so let's add the next fields. Next up, we're going to want a summary, and rather than this be a single line of text, we want it to be a multi-line text because there might be 2 or 3 sentences. So let's add that in below the slug right here. And for a display name, we'll say summary. This gets auto-populated, and then down here, we can allow multiple values, can we? No. Localized field, no. We're going to make this required because we do want every post to have a summary. It doesn't need to be unique. Let's limit the character count. Let's say that the min is going to be 10 characters and the max is 200. So it can't be a huge summary, but there must be a couple of sentences. All right, so down here, we don't need the advanced ones. Let's click Add to add this field. And then after the summary, we want a rich text field. So let's add that over here. This is for the page content itself. So we will call this content. And then down here, we don't want enable embedding. Basically, that allows you to reference other posts. We're not going to do that. If we keep scrolling down, these are the formatting options. So this is a rich text field, right? So it allows us to format the text as we type it. And these are the different options available in that rich text editor. So you can uncheck any of these if you don't want them. For example, if you don't want links, then I think there is a link option right here. You can deselect this, and then users won't be able to add links in that rich text. I'm going to keep them all selected though. This is required, doesn't need to be unique, and we'll add this. All right, so there's one more, and that is the thumbnail field. So let's scroll down here, see what we've got. And it is this one right here, Asset Picker. So if we bring this at the bottom, we can call this thumbnail, like so. And now we can say we don't want to allow multiple assets to be checked because it's only one thumbnail per post. It's not going to be required either because to begin with, we're not going to be using images. I'm adding this image field now, but we're not going to be using them until later on in the course. But I still want to add posts, so I don't want to make this field required just yet. Maybe in the future it would be required, but I think that's all we need. So let's click on Add to add this final field. Okay then, so I think now we've got everything we need for the post model, and we could start adding some post content right now. However, I also want to make one more content model, and that is a page model, so that we can deliver page content like for the About page in the app from Hygraph as well. So from here, let's go to the little add button in the sidebar up here to where it says models, and click on that to make a new one. And this time, I want the name of this model to be page. And as we type that, the following 2 fields, they're auto-populated again based on that name. So we'll leave off the description again for now, and we're just going to hit the Add Model button down here to make that model. And then again, we just need to add the different fields for this model, which is going to be pretty similar to the fields on a post, right? We need a title for the page, we need a slug, and a content field for the actual page content. The only things we don't need really that a post have is the thumbnail and also the summary. So then, since we've already seen how to make these fields before, I'm going to speed this video up now while I add them. Then once I'm done, I'm going to slow it down again. All right, so I've done that now, and now we have a post model for blog post content, and we've added a page model for page content. And now, if we tried going to the content page by clicking the link in the sidebar, we should see, if we open the custom views section on the sidebar here, those 2 models. And if we click on one of those models, we're going to see a button to add a new entry for that model over here. So we're not going to start adding content in this lesson, but we will do that in the next lesson. And we'll also have a play around with the GraphQL API for the content using this built-in playground area as well.